So there are a ton of amazing games on the Quest 3, but you might not know exactly which games to pick and which games you should spend your money on. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 games that I recommend that you get if you want to showcase your Quest to one of your friends. Now, there are a lot of games that are fantastic multiplayer games, and ultimately, if you want to play multiplayer games with your Quest, not everyone has a VR headset, so you want to sell this thing to them. And if you want to give them an amazing VR experience, these are the games I recommend you show them. Now, you do have to bear in mind that people who are new to VR might be a bit more susceptible to motion sickness. So a lot of these games that I'm going to show you are going to be a little bit easier. They're not going to be as hardcore games as what I would actually probably play most of the time myself. But when I was showing people my Quest, these were the games that I felt comfortable showing them and they had a really good time in. So first of all, if you're interested in VR in any way, you would have seen the Richie's Plank experience. Now, this game is almost like a cult classic at this stage. It's been around for so long, but there is a reason why everyone knows about it, and it's because it is a great game to bring out at parties. Now, if you have anyone who's completely new to VR, sometimes this will absolutely blow their mind. You essentially, an elevator appears in a room, you go in the elevator, you go up a massive skyscraper, and you step out onto a plank. Now, there are a few variations of ways that they've made this game slightly more in depth, but that's the basic concept. And you stand on the plank, and you look down, and you see a very big drop, and it's a little bit concerning. If you step off the plank, you then fall. It's a very, very simple premise, but it's one that works to perfection. Now, actually, if you have your own plank at home, you can put a plank down and match the plank in the headset to that actual plank on the floor. And that means when people are walking along the plank, they can actually feel a plank beneath their feet. And if they go to fall, it's just even more immersive. Now, do be careful if you're doing this, because as you probably have seen, this can go terribly wrong for people.
You did?
But it is very, very funny. So for a great party game and an amazing first VR experience, you can't go wrong with Richie's Plank experience. Now, I recommend for any Star Wars fan, if you show them the Vader Immortal series of games, they will blow their mind. Standing in front of Darth Vader, that's whatever height he is, 7 foot, is a bit intimidating and is very, very good. Now, again, these aren't the most intense games with like the most complicated gameplay. They're very, very simple, but that's why they work if you're showing someone something new. It gets them into the Star Wars world, wielding a lightsaber, and it is just a very, very cool experience for someone who's new to VR. So if you have any Star Wars fans as friends, this is the app to show them. Now, it does come in 3 parts, and you have to purchase each part individually. So I would recommend just starting with episode 1 and seeing how it goes. Now, if you want the best Star Wars experience out of the 3, the final episode gives you access to more Jedi abilities. So if you want to get the best experience, make sure you play it all the way through to the end. Now, the next one is, in my opinion, a bit of a boring one. It's one that everyone will pick, and that is Beat Saber. People recognize it, so they're like, oh, I want to play Beat Saber, and then you let them play Beat Saber, and they're like, oh, that was really cool, because it is a cool game. Honestly, I'm bored of Beat Saber now. I've had it for so long, and I've played it so many times. That being said, when I have people around and then I play it, I do have a very good time. Yeah, Beat Saber's on the list. Get Beat Saber. Now, the next one I actually featured in my last video, which was 5 VR apps that you need to download for beginners. And this was Superhot VR. And for almost the exact same reasons, I'd recommend this for your friends to showcase it to them. When people put on the headset for the first time, Superhot VR is just amazing. It's a really cool concept where as you move, time moves, and it gives you a really simplistic and stylistic idea of basically the capabilities of VR. It introduces you to gunplay really well. You can get some pretty funny reactions from people as you're showing this to them. So Superhot VR, again, you got to at least have it on your headset. You have to have it. You have to have it. If you've not played it, you have to play it at least once. Now, I've played almost 100 or so VR games, so these are just a selection of the ones that I've played. I know there are other games out there, so when I get to my final one here, if I missed one, stick it in the comments so everyone can see what you would recommend for people to get. But I have to say, the last one that I probably would recommend, is this boring? Job Simulator. Look, there's a reason why everyone has played it, and everyone uses it to demonstrate VR. It's just a very decent VR experience for beginners. It gives you really good concepts of VR. It's interesting. It's introducing you to the idea of virtual things in your space. It's very, very cool. And compared to some of the other ones that I've shown you, it's quite laid back. you're relaxed, you're chilling, you're being able to do things in front of you. It's a good game. I'm sure I've missed tons of games that you guys would recommend, and I'm sure some of you wouldn't recommend the games that I've picked. So if you have any ideas or options for other people, stick them in the comments below. But in my next VR game video, I'm going to be talking about 5 games that I got that I just don't ever play. So if you want to see what those games are, click the video there, and I'll see you in the next one. Whoop!